Well, the equation that we came up with at the end of the previous video was what we call the slope-intercept form for the equation of a line. If you have a line with slope m and the y-intercept is b, then y equals mx plus b is the equation of the line. So here's a real simple example. Y equals 1/3 x minus 2. Well, what's the slope? The slope is what's being multiplied by x. So 1/3, that's my m. And the b, the y-intercept, would be not a 2, but it'd be -2. Very simple. And how do we usually plot at the equation if we're given the equation in the slope-intercept form? Well, here's how I do it. Plot the y-intercept. That's 1 point. The y-intercept here is -2. So that's the 1 point. And then we need a second point. And we're going to get the second point by using the slope. So we're going to start at the first point and then realize the slope is 1/3. So it means rise over run, means go up 1 to the right 3. Go up 1 to the right 3. And once you have 2 points, you just connect them. And it's a line, so you put arrows on both sides. That's one simple way of graphing a line in slope-intercept form. Last thing we did was draw the line through the points. Okay, well, what's the slope of a horizontal line? We mentioned this a little bit earlier. Horizontal is just a zero slope. You're not walking uphill or walking downhill if you're on many roads probably have a zero slope. Many streets do. Okay, so if that's the case, what is y equals mx plus b with m being a 0? It means this term goes away. So we would have y equals b. Or the way I'm going to write it here as a function, f of x equals b. F of x, remember, this is the same as saying y equals b. You plug in x, but every x that you plug in, every single x, you get a value of b for the y value. So the height of the function, the value of the function is constantly b. So it's constant. Has the same value no matter what value of x. So let's say b is right here. That means that when x is 0, the value of the function is b. When x is a 1 or a 2, the height is b. When it's -1 or -2, the height is b, and it turns out that's the horizontal line. Y equals b or f of x equals b. All right, well, that's the horizontal line. Now let's move to a vertical line. This one's different. The vertical line, I think we mentioned this earlier. What do we call the slope? Undefined. Well, the equation of a vertical line is given by what? X equals, and I'll just put some variable a, some constant a. A is a real number, where a happens to be the x-intercept. So let's put a here. So let's say a is a negative number. The vertical line x equals a looks like that. So every vertical line is x equals some number. Every horizontal line is y equals some number. All right, does the vertical line represent a function? Well, let's take a look. That's 0. So what is f of a? Well, f of a is equal to 0, but it's also equal to 0.1, 0.2, 1, 2, 10, 100. It's definitely not a function because it's got more than one value. F of a has more than one value. That makes it not a function. It's actually the only line that is not a function is a vertical line.